Fitzgerald Lester from the Institute of High-End Groomers. Somewhat going off topic, but on topic. You know, lately watching the news, there's been a lot happening in America. You know, the great old USA, the land of the free, the home of the brave, the house that was built by the slave. You know who the slave is, right? You're looking at him, a descendant of the slave, descendant of slaves from the Caribbean, from the Carolinas, from the wherever, just a descendant of slaves. You know, in America right now, you know, today is July 6th or 7th. What is it?
7th.
7th, right? July 7th. On July 6th, they killed 2 black men. One brother who was selling CDs, who had acquired a gun for the sole purpose of protecting his little vending business. And then the other individual who was riding with his girlfriend and their baby in the car, and he happened to have a gun. You know, you always hear the NRA talking about, oh, gun, protect the right to have a gun, protect the right to have a gun. Why is the NRA always talking about let's have a gun, but now when a black man gets a gun, now it's a problem? You understand? My wife right now, she's into guns. You know, she goes, and I'm telling you, she's a hell of a shot, man. If you could see some of those plates, them pie plates that she puts up, always hitting the bullseye, always hitting the mark. And she's always on my case about being a business owner, about traveling, about doing all the things that I do, about handling of money, as to why it's necessary that I carry a gun. But the reason why I don't carry a gun, because, you know, I move on faith, man. I believe that, you know, God, He's going to protect me, that He's my protector. And so, you know, anytime I'm leaving, you know, the first thing I'm thinking, if I'm in a situation and it's tight, and I think that some things may happen, like when a lot of times I leave my salon, it's late at night, it's dark. Although I'm never carrying any money, I know that the chances of something happening to me are very great. So you may hear me saying to myself, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ashhadu la ilaha illallah. And I lock my door and I leave. And I go into my car and I say to myself, Inshallah, everything will be all right. And I move and I jump into my car, I go home. I see all of the people in the city. I see them going to and fro, just moving, trying to exist. And yesterday, I was very moved by what I had seen on television, the fact that they had murdered another 2 black men. Because as I say, the NRA, they're always talking that all Americans must arm themselves. And my wife, she believes that I should carry arms, but I don't want to carry arms. You know, I'm moving on faith. I'm believing that God is going to defend, protect me. He's going to keep me safe. So in believing that, I move without what people will call a weapon, because I'm protected by the covenant of God. But then when I see what's happening, I see the way black men are dying in the street. And when we're talking about the black men dying in the street, we're going to deal with both sides of this coin. We're going to deal with the head sides, and we're going to deal with the tail side. But right now, we're dealing with the tail side. And the tail side is these people who are to protect and serve. When you leave your home, Mr. Officer, are you leaving your home to protect and serve all citizens? Are you leaving your home to protect and serve everybody except black people, black men? Why is it? What do you fear about the black man? Do you fear that the black man is going to do to you what you did to him? Is that what you're afraid of? Is that why you're killing us? You guys talk about Donald Trump and about how Donald Trump is being racist and Donald Trump is this, Donald Trump is that. One thing I'm going to tell you, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. But one thing that I will say is that Donald Trump is real. And I would rather sit with a real man who can tell me to my face that I don't like you because the blackness in your skin. I don't like the melanin, as you call it, or the carbon that's in your skin. But understand that why we are black, why we are who we are. We are black because we are the first thing out of darkness when God created man. So know that we are your father. So you are disrespecting yourself when you kill a black man. Because when you kill a black man, you killing the man that gave you life. So all of you running around, y'all talking about it, yes. And the media, I noticed what you guys were saying yesterday. Every time you showed the clip of the black man being murdered, the reporter always had a disclaimer that we don't know what happened before the gun was fired. We don't know what happened before the black man was murdered. Always creating an opportunity for the cops to have an out, because you will never want to be say that we made him guilty in the media. So what we said is that we don't know what happened before he was actually shot. You know why you say that? Because you're setting a precedence to give them a foundation to try to make up something. You understand? Try to make up something. But see, what you guys better remember, it's been almost 100 years. It was 1917, East St. Louis, when 200 black people were murdered. And you know why they murdered those black people? Because the black people were coming from the south to the north to East St. Louis to work in the meat packing factories, because there were jobs. They didn't pay the black people well, but they were being paid more than what they were getting as sharecroppers. And you want know what happened? Black people began to prosper. Black people begin to do well. Black people begin to do better for themselves during segregation than they're presently doing in integration. So you know what happened? They came in, they trumped up charges that a black man looked at a white woman, looked at the white woman and said, what? Hi, can I help you? Oh, you're looking beautiful. Hey, how you been? No, he happened to look in a direction and there happened to be a Caucasian woman. And if I'm not mistaken, the guy's name was Willie Brown. Willie Brown was murdered because they said, remember, there's a picture. Remember, you see that picture where the black man is burnt at the stake? I know you all know that notorious picture. It's from East St. Louis, 1917. They killed Willie Brown and they burned him at the stake. So if you go on Google, Yahoo, or any of those sites or those search engines, they'll tell you who this guy is and why he died. He died for nothing. And here it is, 100 years later, the black man is still being killed by trumped up charges. I mean, my thing is, I have to worry about my safety everywhere I go. Because, like I said, we're going to deal with both sides of the coin. And I'm talking to you now specifically, my black brother. My black brother, I want you to look in the mirror. I want you to look at yourself. I want you to see the love for yourself. I want you to go into your closet. I want you to pull out your best outfit. I want you to get dressed. I want you to throw your dab on, pull your hat down, get real cool, and just look like you want to look real smooth. And look at yourself in that mirror. And look at the admiration that you have for yourself. And that same admiration that you have from the reflection of the glass of yourself, I want you to see that same reflection when you see me walking down the street. Because know that we all get up in arms when the police shoot and kill black men. But what are we doing and saying about when the black man kills the black man? How many of us have lost loved ones to violence, unnecessary violence at our own hands? Because the late great Muhammad Ali, I've always been a fan of his. And you know when someone dies recently, people begin to re-explore them, to reintroduce themselves to their greatness. And it's only in your absence, in your death, when people begin to miss you, that they really see how valuable that you were. And so in seeing that value, we are now all revisiting Muhammad Ali. And in Muhammad Ali's video, he was being interviewed. And I remember him saying to the reporter, if you have 100 snakes coming at you, 90 of them poisonous, and 10 of them are not poisonous. They're grass snakes. They can't do any harm. You can even make them a pet. 10 of them of that nature that you can keep them, that you don't have to worry about them. He said, do you go into the snakes hoping that you run into the 10 good snakes and the other 90 don't get you? Or do you run into the room and close the door and lock all 90 of the snakes out? And at the time, what Muhammad Ali said was correct. You close that door and you lock all 90, all 100 of the snakes out, because you can't tell the good from the bad. And he was referencing our white brothers when he said that. But let's take that to today. Let's take that 2016. Let's say that same situation. You got 100 snakes, 10 of them bad, and 90 of them good. Do you deal with the 90 that you hope you're going to catch the 90 good, or you take a chance that you run into the 10 that may mean you some harm? So what you do again, you run into that closet. But now when you run into the closet with your people, are you safe? Are you protected? Because now in that closet, whereas it wasn't in the past, but in that closet now I have to worry about who's in the closet, the one who looks like me, the one who smiles like me, the one that walks like me, talks like me, the one that could be me. I have to worry about him and how he may respond to the closeness of us being packed in the closet. I have to worry about, will he kill me? Will he do me harm? So what we have to do is we have to look at our sojourn in America. What people don't realize, slavery, they talk about when slavery started, but there's 64 missing years between the time that they said slavery started and when slavery really started. Because when we first came to these shores, it took 64 years to make a slave. So they had to make the black man other than himself. They had to dehumanize him. They had to make him into that savage that they said that he was. So they made him other than himself. They gave the black man their culture. They gave the black man their religion. They gave the black man their God. And they gave the black man the belief that he was not beautiful, that he didn't look good. So as a result, when you see all of those things compounding, now here in 2016, we don't only have to worry about the officer, the overseer, we have to worry about one another. What happened to the love that we had for self? What happened to each one teach one? What happened to pulling one another up by the bootstrap? Black people, you must realize that if you are to be in a position that you claim that you want to be in, you got to do the necessary things. You have to sacrifice. You have to stop killing your brothers. And again, in my closing, remember that Hillary Clinton and that super predator theory, remember, nobody's on our side but us. And the only way we are going to come out of this position is to unite as a people and do for self. And what we have to do is, if they don't have something to give us, we have nothing to give them. So think about it. You got Hillary Clinton, you got Donald Trump, you got super predator and the 94 crime bill on the left, and you got Mr. so-called racist on the right. So they all one and the same. So I'm asking you, who do you choose? The one who lets you know that I care nothing for you, or the one who doesn't care anything for you, but is going to lie and say I love you? So black people, let's get our stuff together. Let's move as a unit and let's stop killing one another. It's me again, Fitzgerald Lester from the Institute of High-End Groomers. I want to thank you, and I hope that this video finds you well. And remember, when you see the officers, keep your hands where they can see them, because if not, you know what's going to happen to you. So be cool, be safe, peace in the Middle East.